Good evening, everybody. It's December 30th, 2023. And I have another email that I'd like to read to you from Dr. Eric Karlstrom discussing all of the theories between he and Sabrina Wallace. But before I get into that, please hit the thumbs up. My name is Lorraine. Alternative homesteading. I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner, and I became targeted there. Why? I don't know. Maybe because there are a lot of envious, jealous losers out there that, once a woman gets divorced, they think that it's open field day to target. It never happened to me while I was married, but going through the divorce process, you come in contact with a lot of lawyers, many of which are totally corrupt. And unfortunately, there are a lot of bad players who take advantage of divorced single people. And divorce lawyers are one of the only attorneys out there that have your full balance sheet when calculating how to devise property and care for children. So yeah, I became targeted there. I'm originally thought around 2012, but I think it's closer to 2009. And there are a couple of things that came up recently that I've been reviewing in my file folders that lead me to believe that it was closer to 2009. But anyway, please remember to hit the thumbs up. Welcome newcomers, and welcome to those back to my channel. It helps the channel grow if you give a thumbs up. Combat the cyber stalkers who immediately downvote the videos as soon as I post it. So anyway, Dr. Karlstrom says, Happy 2024, and another Christmas message from Sabrina Wallace and me. I feel pretty confident that Sabrina Wallace has now shared the basics of the techniques of the people behind our targeting in her videos. That's the good news. The bad news is that these are the most powerful people in the world with the most advanced technologies. To me, the case she makes is overwhelming and convincing. I've probably loaded over 100 of her videos on my website with commentary, relevant scientific and government documents, graphics, etc. I believe she has a team of researchers working with her. The latest post on my website below features 3 of her fairly recent videos. In this post, I kind of condense it down to the bare bone basics, trying to make it understandable. Basically, she's saying we are used in a DoD, NATO, medical computer simulations, training exercises for warfighters and for AI precision medicine to use brain-computer interface technology in simulations and training exercises, etc. And that these two systems use the same cloud computing internet system for intelligence. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So there's a period after the word intelligence. We are all nodes on the network for netcentric electronic cognitive warfare. She says that they've developed over the past 70 years and kept quiet about it. And yes, others are playing us like Sims in a video game. Yes, it's quite complicated, and she cites many professional papers. In these videos, Sabrina shows us how the system works. And she herself is a brilliant computer network engineer who really knows this stuff. And like I say, I think she has help from experts who wish to remain anonymous. Actually, that appears to be true because I've listened to some of her videos, and she does state that there are people that are giving her information that remain anonymous. Please take a look and listen to Sabrina in these videos. She is quirky and speaks fast and some salty language, but she certainly seems to know what she's talking about. In fact, I give her the Toto 2 award for pulling back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz and his shenanigans. Drum roll. So far, there's been little to no real debate about this information in the so-called TI community. I'm hoping there will be at least those among you with a survival instinct and a will to live. Here's my post. Targeted Individual Program is a DoD distributed interactive simulation, DIS, from MITRE and NATO's simulation, experimentation, analytics, and testing. The acronym is SEAT, S-E-A-T. 3 Sabrina Wallace videos. The exact same post is here in another one of his websites. This would be Appendix 240. Targeted Individual Program is a DoD distributed interactive simulation, DIS, for MITRE and NATO simulation, experimentation, analytics, and testing. 3 of Sabrina Wallace's videos. He cites some references and he posts links to the videos on her Odyssey channel that he's referring to. Program of topics and speakers for the Sustaining a Global Force in a Digital World theme at the December 2003 meeting of the ITSEC, Inter-Service Industry Training Simulation and Education Conference. It's a trade show. She provides some little diagrams here. Let me show you. Framework of a brain-computer interface. Okay, and I'm going to click on a link and read. Oh, and just by the way, folks, just remember all these creatures, what are they? They're voyeurs, they're stalkers, they're peeping toms. There are peeping tom laws. Peeping toms, peeping janes, I call them the bun babes. Yeah, the bun babes, the females that stalk us, the bun babes. They drive around with their hair in a bun in the summertime. The bun babes. It's interesting because I mentioned that to somebody else in the community. That's what they call them too, the bun babes. Let's see. Let me click on this link and see where we go here. Okay, here we go. We're on Dr. Eric Karlstrom's website. This is his website. Gang stalking, mind control, and cults. Exposing and defeating organized gang stalking, mind control, and cults. The webmaster is Dr. Eric T. Karlstrom, Emeritus Professor of Geography, California State University at Stanislaus. So here we go. Targeted Individual Program. It is a distributed interactive simulation, definition below. Epigraph quote. Sabrina Wallace summarizing the techno-perps basic message to TIs. We're going to bail you out of the future, and there isn't shit you can do about it. We're busy siphoning our own friends and neighbors, making them sick on purpose and playing games with them. No different from what we're used to do in middle school when it was the Mean Girls Club, quote unquote. The webmaster's comment, in these videos especially, but in all her work really, I believe Sabrina Wallace has come through for all targeted individuals. She gets the Toto 2 award for pulling back the curtain on the TI program and exposing the real middle and upper level perps. And more importantly, how and why TIs are being played like Sims in a video game. Thank you, Sabrina. I believe Wallace's work strongly suggests that we, TIs, are involuntary test subjects for testing and deployment of military and medical brain-computer interface applications, including clinical trials, game interaction, fatigue, emotion, sleep quality, and robot control, as per figures 1 and 2 of a survey of recent advances in signals sensing technologies. Oh, that's why they want to isolate the victim. They don't want anybody else to know what they're doing to us. They don't want your friends and family members to see how you deteriorate over a few months. They don't want your friends and family to see bruises on your body like you've been beaten up by a jilted lover. They don't want anybody to see what is happening to you. They don't want anybody to see what's happening to your house and your property and your pets, because they would question it. What the hell is going on? So below, among other things, the Cognitive Technology Threat Warning System, which is C2WS, is also a brain-to-computer interface designed to analyze sensory data and then alert foot soldiers to any possible threats, passive or direct. Well, I hope all you criminals are listening. You're all getting exposed with your little weenies. Sabrina, reading from the IT SEC program, see below. It's a tutorial for IEEE F 278TM standard for distributive interactive simulation concepts and techniques. I wondered, what is that? So I looked it up. I found a very long history of the Global Information Grid, GIG, and its interoperability for how they actually have the system command itself and communicate with all these networks through human bodies, and how they actually orchestrate the database, check back with it, execute the signal transduction, and get it to the right place. That's what all those fusion sensors are doing. They're collecting all this information on us, right? They have to slander us while they're experimenting on us. Yeah. While they're playing games with our bodies and minds. These are sick, pathetic psychopaths. These are the criminals. Some of you really struggle to understand when I say they play you like a sim in a video game. And because you think that it's so sci-fi instead of jobs, you don't realize how much work goes into all this. Some of you keep screaming lawfare, but the lawyers and attorneys have no power to get these value chain partners and turn off this stuff. So I think we would be better served by educating as many people as possible about what you effing did while you were at your job. For what? This SHIT? So here is Sabrina Wallace's introduction. I am taking folks to the back end of what these people are actually looking at for their jobs. Routing data for the new digital ledger technology that also fuels the blockchain crypto markets. I will be back with liquid neurons, BCI and Anastasia's AI market share for the second time shortly. However, my signage that people are suspicious of is accurate, and sometimes it helps to see where the products are already deployed along with their technical software deployments by year. That way, when I assert clearly that this STWS system with a DARPA headset has been online and in use as in college, jobs, and very real careers in playing humans like Sims, people can source the linear history of software development and the trade show history shows that you, the companies who purchased the hardware, hired people to train on the modeling software. And where are those people now? Oh, yes, I have a digital twin. That's Impossible. It's too much data to manage a human in all their interactions or synapses. Whoops. Sorry about that, folks. Edumacation is different for variant groups of people. On our channel, we seek mitigation strategies that authentically work every time and do not aggregate beneath people who lie about technology as a matter of their jobs. The Synergy channel is comprised of folks who avidly soak in data analytics and offer them a better view of the cognitive cities. That's C40 and Smart Cities for Agenda 2030, and voracious readers who may or may not have the ability to write Substack articles. If you can work a job in an industry after spending tons of money going to school for biosignals while simultaneously disavowing biosensors, that is a problem that we need to fix with education and market share. Not more people selling their stories about aliens and UFOs and psychic and I don't know what else. Some of the references she cited in the video are 2023 Inter-Service Industry Training, Simulation, and Education Conference, the program of topics and speakers for the Sustaining a Global Force in a Digital World theme at the December 2023 meeting. That is the Inter-Service Industry Training, Simulation, and Education Conference trade show. And these are all clickable links. I cannot post them in the comments section or in the description section. That's why I'm showing you his website, so you can go to his website. I'll show it to you again. And let me just plug this in here. It's Gang Stalking, Mind Control, and Cults. And it's his most recent posts here. So here's his most recent post, the one that I'm reading, or just read to you. This is dated December 28th, 2023. Eric Karlstrom. Okay. And on the right side, he's got all of his archives. So you can click on each month to see what research he provided on the targeted individual program. And he's been dissecting and compiling information from Sabrina Wallace's videos. And guess what, folks? What do they do to us every day? What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is psychological manipulation. Gaslighting is psychological manipulation. Okay, we know the program exists. We know what they're doing. This is what psychopaths who are bored with their lives do. They're peeping toms, they're voyeurs, they're stalking. I'm being nice about it, okay? But anyway, I will let you go to his channel and you can scroll through this. It's quite extensive, it's quite long, and he dissects and provides links to each of Sabrina Wallace's videos that are on Odyssey. Okay, I wanted to bring you another topic as well. So, I receive a lot of questions and answers on the group Quora, Quora. There are a lot of perpetrators on there, right? They very often will post a question wanting a targeted person to respond to it. But this was an ongoing question and answer. Every time somebody posts an answer to a question, the original question repopulates and it gets sent to me via email. So the question is, How do I find out? One second. I just lost the question here. How do I find out who my gang stalking handler is? So one of the answers, one person says, I don't know who my handler is. Most gang stalking cases are initiated by the Department of Homeland Security, more especially the CIA. The gang stalking program is used to eliminate what the CIA calls whistleblowers. These are people who use their First Amendment rights to exercise free speech. This is no longer tolerated in the U.S., as I have been gang stalked for more than 3 years. Oh, well, lucky you, it's only been 3 years. Because I alert, these are not my words, this is somebody else's words that I'm speaking. It's their response. She's been gang stalked for more than 3 years because she alerted the public concerning the New World Order, what it will mean to our citizens, and what it will be like for the common citizen. And soon after, I was placed on the terrorist watch list by the CIA. This gave them unlimited funds to monitor my every movement, everything I do on my cell phone, and what I do in my home or vehicle. I lost every bit of privacy I ever had. They hired a handler who I loosely know. Then the handler hired many perpetrators who work out in the field that actually perform the stalking and harassment. Handlers can hire up to 200 perpetrators for each victim, which are called targeted individuals. That's me. I live in Arkansas, and there are a lot of perpetrators here. Let me assure you, I have never terrorized anyone. The U.S. government is the terrorist in this situation, not me. Let me add that there are 170,000 targeted individuals in the U.S. today. Well, that's not true. This is, oh, never mind. This is 3 years old. This is, guys, I just want you to know, this response is 3 years old, okay? Her number is, even 3 years ago, it was more than 170,000. The gang stalking program is very successful. There have been many victims who have been driven to commit suicide or have been imprisoned for something they didn't do. The handler works with local, county, state, and federal government police to harass you, set you up, or find you breaking the law. These police departments become part of your gang stalking experiences. Very few Americans are aware that gang stalking exists. This must change. It must change. We need your help to inform the public about gang stalking so the program can be stopped from unaliving innocent citizens. This program was developed in a way that when you start informing others about the program, they think that you're a paranoid, schizophrenic, or just totally insane. It's so sensational that people find it hard to believe. And that reminds me of the eBay stalker case. And let me remind you that the eBay stalkers were 2 retired police officers. Yeah, they're retired police officers that were now working in the eBay security department. And they were tormenting a couple that lived in Massachusetts because they had written some negative reviews about eBay or some other company or whatever. I don't remember all the details. I only remember that those 2 police officers, they were tried in a court of law. That couple did get their due process, and they were both imprisoned. They were both in prison. They had to pay a fine, and they had to perform community service and all that wonderful stuff. But nobody talks about it because it's now a closed case, like many of the closed cases are. But the thing I do remember, and I do actually have the lawsuit. If anybody wants the lawsuit, email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. It is a closed case, meaning you cannot find the lawsuit online anymore. But I have it. Thanks to Helena Chorba, may she rest in peace. She was gathering all of this information for us all. But basically, the judge stated on the record that the details of this lawsuit was so bizarre that she didn't even think she could see it in a movie. So what this woman is stating in this response 3 years ago is, it's so sensational that people find it hard to believe. Of course it's so sensational that it's hard to believe. Of course the details are so bizarre you wouldn't even think you could see it in a movie. They're developed by psychopaths, criminals. Imagine for a moment that you live in a country, state, county, or city where you live, and you have zero privacy in your life. Every incoming and outgoing phone call, mail, email, message, and text are recorded and archived by the CIA in a supercomputer. Sometimes this all happens in real time. Every private conversation between you and someone else who is sitting on the same room as you are is overheard and monitored from your cell phone. You listening, guys? I'm talking to the creepos. You listening, guys? Karma's coming for you. You're all gonna lose your income, you know it. I'll wait till I get to the next response. You're gonna love it, guys. If you're around your phone or TV, the camera is normally turned on around you, which is why I have my camera hole covered on my laptop. They only know... Oh, wait. I missed a couple of sentences here. If that's not bad enough, you learn that there are different levels of government that use drones, listening devices that have the capability to hear you from 5 miles away, and your mugshot can be taken via satellite. Hi, guys! Via satellite from miles above you. Even worse, you're followed everywhere you go by perpetrators and law enforcement officers who don't even know you. They only know what the levels of government have told them. Slander campaigns are waged against you, making you out to be some kind of monster to most everyone you know or meet. And they're backed by the forged, you hear that, forged quote-unquote official government documents. They're all fake. The purpose of slandering you is to get rid of all of your support systems. Can you imagine being harassed every possible way every day and night? I bet you're wondering what governments would use the very tax dollars a citizen pays and is paid to perform these atrocities on an understanding, honest citizen for just exercising their right to free speech, where it's no longer tolerated? Could I be describing Russia, China, North Korea? Oh yeah, what was that? Like Russia? It's not Russia. Guess where Edward Snowden is living? Right, didn't Russia give Ed Snowden asylum in Russia? I don't know, he's been living there for a few years. He seems to be doing just fine. He even brought his girlfriend over there. He seems to be doing just fine over there. I'm sure he'd rather be in the US, but hey, Russia gave him a home when the good old USA wants to unalive him for speaking the truth. Some third world country? No, I'm describing the US of A. The state of Arkansas, Pulaski County, and the city of Sherwood. Surprised? Now this is where this woman lives, okay? I don't live there. I don't know. I don't even know anything about Arkansas. I never lived there. Most people are, because they're not aware of the organized stalking program, gang stalking, administered and funded by the CIA and the Department of Homeland Security. Please don't dismiss what I've written here. I know it sounds too sensational to be true, because you're unaware of the program or think I'm a raving lunatic, but instead, research this for yourself. Now again, this is 3 years ago. She says there are 170,000 Americans and over 1 million targeted individuals being gang stalked worldwide right now. God bless you, and may God bless America. Okay, well, we know that there are millions. Some people say it's 4 million. Other people say it's 8 million people loaded on the list, including children elders. Now another person says, you're getting gang stalked. It's a group effort, but involvement with the wrong person can set you up for this community watch insanity. She says, I am honest after years of this constantly feeling watched and all this ill-at-ease experience. Researching and delving into the topic, I don't think you can solve your situation by merely finding the leader. But you can solve what issues you have with allowing perps onto your property and touching your belongings, etc. Pray for your lesser perps because they are filled with demons. Pray for the spirits to be released from your accusers. But don't pray for their personalities because it's two separate things. So now I will read to you the comment that I received in my email. And I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope you're still following along here. So the question is, again, how do I find out who my gang stalker handler is? And this is a unique answer. I haven't heard this answer before, but I have heard people state what he's talking about. How do I find out who my gang stalking handler is? Gang stalkers are people who work for an insurance company. They collected your info and created a life insurance policy or policies in your name, and they're trying or hoping that you die soon so they can cash in your policy. It's life insurance fraud, plain and simple. Some life insurance policies can be up to $10 million. So the more people involved in gang stalking you, the more the life insurance policy is. The people who are commenting that only you can take out a life insurance policy on yourself have never done research on life insurance fraud that involved premeditated murder plots. Just to give you an idea of how long this has been going on, there is a life insurance murder case that goes back to the 1930s. And I will attest to the fact that, you know, I watch a lot of those true crime stories and stuff, and I've read a lot of books on it. You know, my undergraduate degree was abnormal, deviant, and violent psychology, and that's what I studied. I studied psychopaths, I studied serial murderers and serial rapists, and that's what I studied. I studied addictive personalities, and I read a lot of books on the topic. And in many, many, many of the cases, a man or a woman, doesn't matter, could be either one, they get married, right? And one of them is a psychopath, and one of them is a malignant narcissist. And you could be the third, fourth, or even fifth wife that they're knocking off and taking out life insurance policies on each wife. And you can research this, and you will find that there are hundreds of cases out there where somebody got married, got unalived by their spouse who took out a policy against them. So yes, it is possible. And I will also attest to the fact that my own criminal cousin, who was married to a senior partner in a New York City law firm who's no longer living, even though he had a policy with the firm, had lots of benefits, so much money, but secretly, behind his back, she took out another policy on him. And then he died in his sleep. I'm not even going to beg to discuss that situation. It is a family member who's still alive, but I believe that she's part of my quote-unquote gang stalking. She really did something despicable. When my mother was dying in the hospital in New York, my cousin was really close to her, and she could have gone to see my mother. She could have even assisted in getting my mother out of the hospital before they murdered her. But my cousin texted me and said, I'd rather have memories of her when she was alive. That's what a sicko my cousin is. Yeah. She took out another life insurance policy on her husband, and he just turned up dead in bed. She woke up one day and found him dead in bed. He was only in his 30s. So yes, people can take out life insurance policies on. We're talking about corrupt people that have connections. Right? If you're corrupt, neighbors can approach everybody that works on your property and threaten them to not work there and get them to physically damage your property, and they go report back to the county lawyer, right, who is a handler in the area. Of course it can happen. It's been done before. They want your property, they want your land. It doesn't even matter if you have children who will benefit from your estate when you pass on. They still want to take it because they're envious, jealous, greedy. They're just greedy. And yes, this has been happening. So yes, so this comment is, gang stalkers are people who work for an insurance agency. They collected info on you and created a life insurance policy or policies in your name. And I will tell you that when I moved to Kentucky, the first day I went into town and returned, my checking account, my checkbooks were stolen, in addition to a bunch of clothing inside my house. I've had my New Jersey license plate stolen, my passport stolen, my driver's license stolen. This is all identity theft. This is all personal information. This is all in New Jersey, in Kentucky. That's right, folks. And I know for a fact that my neighbor went into my mailbox and stole mail and removed a check that was going to my land surveyor. And the envelope arrived there empty. And it wasn't the first time my mail has been tampered with. These people will stop at nothing to get your information. That's why I burn my trash. I even peel the labels off my pet food cans and burn them. Whether they need to know what kind of cat food I buy? I burn everything. I burn my junk mail. These people are sick. They'll go into your trash with rubber gloves and take your trash. Because they are trash. This is the mindset of a criminal. Psychopaths. Personality disordered. Get a job, losers. Get a job. Get a real job where you benefit society. Let's see what other answers we've got here. The one thing about Quora is there's an endless number of questions and an endless number of answers. One person says, your handler is the person who was interested in you in the first place. He or she initially told others about you. And they often do the will of the leader, or in this case, your handler. The person is usually not around once the stalking starts. However, the person keeps tabs on you through the others, and you will feel a sixth sense about who that person might be. Most of the time, the handler is someone you actually met or even spoke with many times before. Think of someone who you met, who may have been popular, manipulative, or who sensed gave you the creeps. Most likely that person is your handler. Sometimes it is someone who just looks at you while the others ask if you can be the next one. So anyway, this person is a subscriber to Quora, and in order to read the rest of it, you have to be subscribed, meaning you have to pay. So I'll read that again. Your handler is the person who is interested in you in the first place. And again, this is 4 years old. This is a 4-year-old response. He or she initially told the others about you. And they often do the will of the leader, or in this case, your handler. The person is usually not around once the stalking starts. However, the person keeps tabs on you through the others, and you will feel a sixth sense about who that person might be. Most of the time, the handler is someone you actually met or even spoke to many times before. Think of someone you met who is very popular, manipulative, and who you sensed gave you the creeps. That likely is the person who is your handler. Well, I can think of any number of people like that. I don't know how popular they were. I don't consider them have been popular. Manipulative, yes, and they definitely gave me the creeps. I told you about those lawyers. Between my ex-husband's lawyer and the lawyer that I fired and reported to the ethics committee for not getting me a divorce after 3 years. Oh, and then there's the feral cat cartel. Most of those women give me the creeps, and they're also manipulative. I don't know how popular they were. I think 1 or 2 of them thought that they were popular, but they're not popular. But yes, very manipulative, and they definitely gave me the creeps. And then, of course, there's that woman, Dawn. She always gave me the creeps, and she was extremely manipulative. I don't know if she was popular. I think she wanted to be popular, but she just gave me the creeps all the time. There are a lot of people that give me the creeps. The county lawyer here gives me the creeps. He gave me the creeps the first time I saw him. And of course, local neighbors give me the creeps because they are creepy. I mean, who wants to live next door to addicts? Nobody wants to live next door to an addict that falls into a creek and ends up in a detention center. Nobody wants to live next to somebody that kills your cats. Nobody wants to live next door to somebody with a big mouth that claims that they can trespass your property and post no trespassing signs on it. They're trying to steal your property, trying to instigate. It could be any number of people. And then I read another comment that somebody said, oh, it's usually somebody who's either a whistleblower, like you get placed in the program, you're either a whistleblower or you get a divorce. Well, I thought that was really interesting because I have definitely considered that divorce lawyers are the culprits. During a divorce, mine lasted a very long time. I cannot even count how many judges my divorce went before. So many judges. I mean, probably a dozen. And then there was the post-divorce, too. My ex-husband turned into a deadbeat dad and wouldn't pay his child support or spousal support or anything else. There were times he didn't even want to see my daughter. He'd just break plans with her on a holiday. That's how creepy he was. But yeah, you can get placed in this program by going through a divorce. I mean, they're very opportunistic, these lawyers. They see who you are in the courtroom, and then if you're post-divorce and you file pro se, they definitely know who you are. because you're writing your complaints. You're speaking on your own behalf. You're performing your own research. They can see clearly who you are. But anyway, so that's the two topics for this evening. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation. It's also psychological abuse. It is a tool used by narcissists and psychopaths. Dr. Eric Karlstrom and Sabrina Wallace, exposing one criminal at a time, one network at a time. They're playing us like Sims. This is what bored psychopaths do for fun. And then they involve everybody else. And they are peeping Toms and peeping Janes. They're bun babes, driving around their little buns. They're voyeurs and stalkers. And there are laws against all of this. So anyway, I look forward to your questions and comments down below. Do you know who your handler is? Do you suspect you might know who your handler is? Perhaps you have more than one handler, especially if you moved from state to state to state. There's probably the big one, the big one that put you in the program. But who's to say that years later somebody else didn't nominate you into a program? And maybe you have overlapping programs and overlapping handlers. It's just a thought. So I'm going to sign off for now. I cannot believe it is December 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I am wondering what's going to be happening in the world on when that ball drops. When midnight comes in New York City. I hope everybody's going to be safe. I'm going to sign off for now.